Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Cashflow Digital, sponsored by Odys over there, odys.cc. If you're interested in age domains, the link is below. You get a £100 sign up bonus. I was going to say a 400.
Just increased.
4 subscribers just came in. I just seen the 4 or 4 viewers came in, so I just seen the 4. Left has it's $100 sign up bonus, just for signing up and taking a look at the marketplace.
That's good.
But yeah, they're still going strong with our.
They do a good job, man. They really do.
They do. And excuse my little guy crying.
It happens. Sometimes that happens. I got home and I saw the kids and they're all pissed off this morning because they're doing stuff and they weren't happy about it, but they can cry. They got shit to do.
Yeah.
How was your week, man?
It's been all right. I'm not going to lie. I've not done a lot this week with the hot weather. Kind of put me off doing shit. So I've had a slow start to the week, but it is what it is. I'll need to catch up later on in the week. But today is meant to be the hottest day ever here in the UK. And I done some emails and shit while sat in the garden. But dude, this heat is draining the shit.
You got air conditioning or no?
We don't.
Oh, that sucks, dude. Yeah, that sucks.
That's the problem. In the UK, we're not set up for with air conditioning and shit like that. Obviously, people like you or you go to Dubai, they've got industrial style air conditioning, so you can handle the heat a little bit better. But we're here and we're sitting with little blow fans on us and shit. We're just not equipped for it.
No wonder little dude's crying, bro.
Yeah. He's not good with the heat at all.
No, heat sucks, man. Like the cold is heat sucks, dude. Heat just sucks because you can only take so much off, man. You can keep putting shit on if you're cold, you know.
Exactly.
No, thank you. We have like it's a water pump basically, but my well is all fucked up, so it doesn't work well. So kind of a bummer, but it's life. What's up, dude? There's a solid. I thought this is a solid article that popped up over on Search Engine Journal, dude. It's about e-commerce, but I think that there was some interesting shit in there. So maybe we'll just go through these tips, dude, and see if people have a question on e-commerce or anything, unless you had an idea.
Oh, that's e-commerce tips for SEO. Always works.
All right, and the other one that actually is pretty. Actually, you know what? Let's do. This is cool because it's accessibility. 30 tips from deaf and disabled people for SEO and accessibility. Man, that's a good one. We'll see. It's they get in there and the first thing is title tags, dude, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know, like one of the things like in the past before, like I would say back like 2010, maybe even 2006. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2006, maybe like before 2010. I used to use a lot of accessibility shit as an excuse to kind of break terms of service. I don't know if you've ever done that with imagery and text or screen readers, but it's always been a way to slip it's always been a way to slip a manual if they caught onto something. And I haven't done it on our larger sites for a long time because of what dude's saying. Like, you know, they make a point is like, if you can rank, then you kind of have a responsibility not to like screw up someone's experience.
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with that more so than I used to be honest. But they're talking about title tags, headings, links, alt text, and multimedia, right? And those are the things. And so the dude is saying that for title tags guess what it says. Because pretty much I think that this shit always is like SEO and the way Google's written the algorithm, man, is to take care of this kind of stuff, in my opinion. It doesn't say a lot different than what we would do from like an optimization standpoint. Arvinda, expand that, bro. How to beat your competitor in what?
Yeah. Give us more. Give us some more on that question.
How to beat them? He said rank page 1, but how to beat them in what? So accessibility, while that's coming through, is actually talking about iframes a little bit here, and titling the source page in that iframe as a meaningful title. And that brings up something. I know like Marco and Rob, those dudes, like they use a lot of iframes. Have you ever played with iframes like that for optimization purposes, man?
Yeah. I have. But what I would say about accessibility and stuff, it's not a big thing here in the UK. I know it's bigger over there. I know guys are suing people's asses over there for not having accessible websites.
You know, I honestly wonder if the people selling the accessibility optimization are the ones that started that, to be honest with you, dude. It seems like a gimmick to me if you're not a large company, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't like saying that because it's cool. Accessibility is good, but like I've seen a lot of those sales processes where they call people up and scare them and say, "Look, you're gonna have a lawsuit if you don't do this."
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
I mean, personally, I've never ever had a customer, and I've dealt with American customers and people all over the world. I've never had anyone say, "Dude, I've got this problem. I've got this guy mass, telling me to do this." So I've never ever experienced it at all. But Jordan there's saying it's a cash grab, and the ADA government site isn't even ADA LOL. So I had a guy, Glenn Ingram, a nice guy, and he was on my podcast once talking about accessibility, and it's his job. He's into all that, and we spoke about all the things that go into that. But that's as much as I know about it, to be honest. I've never really given it any thought.
You know, I can't. I'm not up to date on what is like law versus like something that can be litigated or whatever. But and I know, I know who you're talking about, but I have not seen something that's convincing enough for me that it's something for people to worry about, other than if they want to sell it to somebody else, right? I just have it myself. And the ADA thing of not being that like out here in the States is a pretty big thing. One of the interesting things that was saying here in the accessibility though, is that for the titles, it's saying put the brand at the end of the title tag. And I get that from a standpoint of like, readability and everything, but I would say that's kind of dependent on where you are in the SERPs and what you're doing at that time. I don't know. And so I don't know if, like, looking at some of this, we've got title tags need to accurately describe the topic or purpose. A good title tag will have the most important keywords located. Okay, towards the beginning. The optimal length for title tags, 60 characters. They're talking about optimization, but also for screen readers. Title tags shouldn't be blank. They should be unique from other pages. Title tags should be consistent with the content. Title tags should be mentioned an error or success confirmation message if there is one. And then iframes need source title and then put the brand at the end. And it says screen readers are assistive technology that help the blind or visually impaired. And the title tags tell us what page we're on, what pages are open. It's also been helpful when title tags include relevant keywords. So to me, it sounds like exactly what you would tell somebody to do for optimization of a title on a website right there, which is common sense. And I'll go on to like the headings, because I don't really, I want to see if there's anything that makes sense from like a let's do this standpoint, but I'm not sure it's going to do it. Headings are always formatted differently to visually stand out from regular body text. They provide visual and semantic information about the structure of a web page, much like levels in an outline. By using heading tags instead of style tags and attributes, a website's author enables a screen reader to understand, user to understand and navigate the page structure just as a sighted reader would. And so as a general rule, there should only be one H1. Best place to position H1 is at the top of the main content. Headings should make sense and follow a hierarchy. It's not a good practice for headings to skip levels. So don't go from H1 to H5 without anything in between, which that's an interesting point. Have you ever paid attention to that at all?
Nope.
Not myself either, but from a document structure, and if I was going to program something, it would make sense. But I think that one, I think as SEOs, we could probably toss out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've ever used the heading 5 tag.
I don't think unless someone's written it for me that I haven't noticed, I don't think I have either.
But
do all heading 5s now, because heading 5s, they're like link edging. They're the best.
Tell me that this is a myth, a potential myth when we talk about header tags, and I don't know if it's bullshit or not. Someone says to me once, and I don't know if it was me drunkenly saying this, or someone else said it, but it's stuck in my head. People say they use header 2 tags more often on their pages rather than the header 1 because they've been spammed to death. So a header 2 tag gets seen as the authority header tag. And I don't know if that's bullshit or something that someone just made up when they were drunk, or even if it was me. I can't even remember. But what is your view on this?
I think that there's an optimization point to having a single header 1 tag on the page for the top level document structure after the title. And so I think it would be more about the fact, and I'm not going to pretend to know if Google cares about that more than the other one, or if it's just an emphasis and a point that they have, like an optimization point. I'm not going to test it ever. I don't care. But I think it gets used more because everyone does kind of subscribe to the fact that H1 should be used once on the page. And usually inside of WordPress, that's defaulted to the template. Yeah. So it makes sense to start at header 2, and because that's the highest level there. So is it that there's more of them so that they actually do more because you can actually feed more optimization into the page from header 2 because we only use header 1, or is it because Google puts more weight on there? I really don't know, and I don't think it matters to know. To be honest, I don't think it's going to make a difference for us if we know the truth or not.
Also, we have Arvind, who's a big fan of yours. He's been following you for 2 years.
He's your fan.
No, he's yours, and he wants to talk to you. So how is that possible? How can he talk to you? Ask a question here, Arvind, but are you willing to disclose your Skype or how?
Yeah, Michael_Pierce1, but I think he's talking to you, bro.
So
I don't have no followers, dude.
So Arvind, Michael.
Skype, man. Skype. I know you won't give it out, but I don't give a shit. I won't.
Dude,
I don't see nothing.
I can't go on Skype, dude. People fucking harass me. And when I go on Skype, you get battered by, and I don't know how they get the name. But anyway, excluding that, Paul is here, and also just a shout out for SEOunderground.co.uk is back this year, 4th of October in the UK, next to an airport in London. Are you available, Mike?
I'm going to be September in Florida. Maybe. Yeah. I wanted to go last year, dude, and say what's up. I know in 2023 in August, I'll be out there. Got a buddy getting That's not the same date, though.
Paul, we will work on him. We'll work on him because Mike keeps threatening to get his ass over here. It's right next to an airport in London, so you can get your ass over.
I'm gonna drag the family out in August next year for sure, I think, and head around everywhere because the wedding and everything. So,
but we'll force them this year, Paul. But SEOunderground.co.uk, $195 a ticket. It's a 1-day event. You're not going to, that's the early bird price. So
what can we do for the next couple? You're going to be in the States, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be in the States. Maeve, you're going to go to freaking London that week, Maeve? Because if you are, maybe I'll come see your ass. And
Maeve, come.
That's right,
Kazi, the real Craig Campbell. That guy's always buying links too. No comment on that, but hey, and Maeve will go if you go, Mike. So I would like to see what Maeve looks like as well. I'm sick of looking at that Highland pony.
She's Irish.
She's Irish, but she stays in Birmingham. How does that work? But guys, keep your questions coming. Do give us a like in the channel, or we will keep talking about ADA.
And we'll keep giving you the ADA advice. So we're on to links, though, dude. Until the next question comes on, users navigate through the web through links, and when it comes to accessibility, the link text is critical. The anchors are used to jump around the page, and they need to make it abundantly obvious to what the next page is about if a user should click it. I will say that the context of a freaking anchor text, of a backlink, is extremely important to know to everybody. It's one of the reasons I like longer anchors. Is because there's more description and there's more things we can tie in there. So SEO Underground is Paul's, right? He puts that on.
Yeah. Paul puts it on, and I was going to say there's a lot of checks on Paul's dodgy shirt as well. But yeah, Paul puts it on. Great guy, and has taken on board that where it was last year was just in a fucking pain in the ass place to get to.
Where was it? That's when you got sick, wasn't it?
Dude, I got fucking COVID from that fucking event. But it was in a place called Newmarket, which is like an hour and a half outside of London. But people were flying into London, then had to get a cab or a train or some shit up there. Fuck that. It was just a pain. So it's next to Stansted Airport in London. So good for everyone flying in. Even Maeve. So I got it round the wrong way. Maeve is a Brummie living in Ireland, so she can jump a flight over to Stansted, no problem. And Kazzy's got a question, Mike. Hexomatic.
I haven't used it.
Me neither. Dirk, how often do you optimize content headers around keywords for your important pages?
All the time.
This is a really important thing to emphasize, though. People keep talking about volume of new content. A lot of people do not go back and optimize the shit that's really important to them. Ahrefs or analytics or whatever show you your top performing pages. Continue to optimize them, tweak them, and squeeze as much as you can. Add to those pages, do whatever to get more out of them. It's not always about adding new content, and I think that's something that really irritates me when I see people continually talking about content.
Yeah, it's one of those things where adding new content can eventually, like, especially if you're not going back and updating your old pages and you're adding new content without a plan, then you're making your site perform much worse. Like every time you do that, because you might end up with stuff all over the place and start actually cannibalizing in a way that is harmful to the website. So if you have hit your topics on pages and there's not a reason to necessarily publish, you might be better off spending the money to go back and do the research and update your page with the proper information for the current market you're in.
Exactly. Always keep going. Continuous optimization. Paul is glad that I'm speaking at the event again. We need Mike to speak, though. We need to mix it up. We need new, fresh speakers. So,
are you speaking like remotely at Underground or what?
Nah, I'll be speaking in person.
I thought you were going to be in the States.
Nah, so this is on the 4th. I'm in the States until the 1st of October. So
gotcha. So you'll be back there, dude. Yeah. I got to figure out where you're flying. Where are you flying out of when you go back?
I need to figure that shit out.
I need to figure out where I'm staying in Florida.
I have no clue, because Terry Samuels wants me to go to an event round about the 14th of September. Then I've got your event, and then I've got this Mastermind Mansion in Nashville, which I think from the 29th till the 1st of October. Then I'm out of there, and I'll probably just fly straight to London for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So I need to figure it all out, though. I have no clue where.
Yeah, I'll look at it and see, because it's pretty close to that, dude.
But yeah, that's my plans anyway.
If I'm in Florida, it makes sense to jump over. If I'm back in Idaho, it's a pain in the ass. But blogging is dead. YouTube eat blogging. Thank you, Mr. Creative.
That's Brad.
That's got to be Brad on the beach going. Bah, 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 bah.
Yeah. YouTube beat blogging.
Dude, I totally forgot he went. I literally forgot he wasn't going to be here today, dude. It was like telling him, "Hey, I might not make it. The shit's burning down over here."
Yeah. So the conversation prior to the show was I messaged the guys the link and all that to join. And Brad's like, I'm not going to make it. I'm on the beach. And Mike is fighting
wildfires
fires out there. So I was like, shall I cancel? What the fuck? But yeah, but at least Mike needed it. Dampened down everything around about his house. Just took a big piss. All
dude,
over.
It's crazy, man. Like the fires are crazy, dude. They jumped the river, and so like right around the up the highway from me around the bend, they're evacuated. So nothing but smoke. My throat hurts, dude. Like I went outside to do some work last night and this morning, and it's just like it's nasty, man. We always get bad air up here in the mountains, like towards September, but right now it's just bad, dude. Real bad. You can see like the flames almost. It's like at night you can see them coming up over the mountain. It's crazy, dude. But I think we're good.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It's never fun. Good weather's it's always enjoyable when the sun's out, but I think everywhere you read just now, all over Europe, even in the UK, London, there was fires. So it's getting a bit out of control. So stay safe, folks.
We've got next, until there's another question, the links should make it abundantly obvious what the next page is about, which is actually very freaking important because some of the way Google scores documents for ranking is the fact that the next document clicked. So like if they come in on something and Google knows what to expect in this group of content. And if they come in like something like computer problem is the one that I always go back to, or like my keyboard won't freaking work. The next one they might know from user data or whatever that they should expect someone to click into something about computer hardware instead of software. And so when you describe that text and when you have the page about the proper thing for the next document linked to from there, there's like all this math that can be done if they want to. And I'm not saying they do it all the time, but it's stuff that they can do to modify the ranking. So that shit's good advice to have descriptive. I love contextual anchor text myself. So I like that one. And this says links should be visually distinguishable. Underline, outline, 3-to-1 color contrast. Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't necessarily agree, but if you're hiding them, you might get in manual trouble. Anchor text unique from other anchor text on the page. Similar anchor text on the same page should not link to different destinations. And that's actually really good SEO advice. You should not have similar anchor text pointing to two different pages. What's up, dude? I owe you a message. I've been out and we're burning down. So sorry, ZA.
I was going to say, he was chasing me last night.
Yeah.
What's Mike and Brad's contact details? I'm like, dude, you need to shoot them a message on Facebook. I don't fucking have their contact details. But yeah.
Yeah. I think it's in there. I think I have the shit up right now, so I will be looking at that after this. I have to have a call after that, but yeah, no, dude, the descriptive, like if I have two pages and I've got two anchors and they're going to two different pages and they're the same kind of anchor and they should be going to the same place, like it's very detrimental to be doing that to your crawl and to your optimization. That's a good point. But avoid using ambiguous text such as click here and read more, and indicate when a link leads to an external website. Do you always know when it's leading to an external website or no?
No.
Me neither. Man, it's hot everywhere right now. Stop saying it's not hot. It's not fair.
Yeah, Ireland's very close to me, and you will be burning your ass off if it's anything like Scotland.
Right. This is interesting. So they gave like a linking anchor, like linking exercise for people to do. And it's like, take the anchor text on the page and then tell what the next page is about by the anchor text. So this is actually a really good kind of exercise for like context. And what it has is the first link is 2,000 calories. The second link anchor is guidelines. And the third link anchor is empty calories. And I cannot tell. I know it's about food, but I can't tell specifics on what the next page would be based on those three anchors. Can you?
2,000 calories.
Daily diet, maybe.
Could be. Yeah, it's vague. It's vague as fuck. 2,000 calories could mean anything.
Now, what if it said 2,000 calories vegan? That'd be a little bit better, right? Like we know a little bit more about that shit.
So yeah, it could be slightly more descriptive. But yeah, 2,000 calories could depending on who you're talking to, could mean anything.
It's one of the reasons I've always told people I like to use title tags if they're not going crazy, because title tags have a lot of context, Yeah. And it's natural to have a title tag shared on the web, and especially in a template, and it will give that kind of context to a link. So context is a good one out of this, I think. But let's see. Alt text. How do you feel about alt text, dude?
I don't bother my ass, if I'm being honest. I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. I
think the only time it would really is like if you have everything else and someone doesn't have it on a page, and then you might have less of a dampening effect somewhere or something. But I think it's too hard to kind of put a value on it. You know?
Like you say, if everyone's going toe to toe in an extremely competitive market, could that be the one thing that gets you above the person? Maybe, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm just a lazy bastard.
I don't think it. I think that it's not gonna. I say the image and what's in the image is more important. Then the alt tag would be almost like a quality thing, like a way for them to tell if something's more legit than another at some point. But the fact is, if you name the images correctly, you can use a plugin if you're using WordPress to insert alt text.
Yeah.
And so it's just not a big, and that's not a bad practice if we're thinking of it from a ADA or accessibility thing, to get them in there for a screen reader, right?
Yeah. I think obviously when it comes to that, 100%, it would have to be done if you were ticking those boxes for the screen reader.
Well, and if you think about it, if you're in a market that actually really does rely on traffic from people that are disabled and they need screen readers, and if you're not providing that for that screen reader, then you're probably not going to rank as high. So I would say it's market specific almost. You know what I mean? Because it's profile based. If we have a bunch of people visiting, you might lose traffic on a core update for that screen reader or whatever that user agent is, but it might not affect your desktop or your mobile traffic, right? So, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't know. Program it, put a plugin in, and have it done.
The lazy way out, the SEO way out, should I say?
It's actually a good way to pad a contract if you need to, and there's not a lot of anchors and they're on WordPress, and this is make a big deal about the images and say we need to get the alt tags in there, and then throw the plugin on and have it done automatically, and it's another deliverable. So could be beneficial there, I guess.
Yeah. Guys, you're slow with questions today.
I
don't know if it's the heat or whatever it's going to.
We're going on to e-commerce though, dude. We're going to look at this article.
So we're on to e-commerce.
I'll pull up some questions, bro.
ZD Electrical says, you say lazy, I say smart. Lazy and smart, that's the thing. I don't know who the famous person once was. I'm pretty sure it was Richard Branson that says something along the lines of he would try and hire the laziest guy in the room because he'd find out a way to do it really easy.
I think it was him. I do.
So
there was a dude in San Francisco that the company found out he, for 2 or 3 years, had been using it's a free-for-all, Black Jays. He'd been using automation to do his programmatical stuff, for his job. He was getting paid good, it was good money, and he automated 95% of it. And they found out and they fired it. And I'm like, that is the stupidest shit you could have done, because he could have just cut your employees out for you. And I'm all for profit. And actually, my cousin, he led the special ops for Mozilla. He was director of the special ops team for Firefox. And that's how he got hired by them, was by taking a contract and then automating most of it to the point where they got rid of the other people that were there. He took a team and he started putting in those practices. And so 100%, dude, the lazy marketer is probably the one that you want on your team.
Yeah.
And
I'm one of them.
I am too. I don't know if you want me on your team though. So Let's see. This is a good question. Do you block bots, man? Like bad bots or anything? Are there bots that you like always plug in and stop from crawling your site? Or
Nah. I mean, I've considered it in the past, and I've seen people talk about it. But nah, I've never went out my way to bother my arse doing it.
You know, we do it on like we'll in the past we'll take it out of certain stuff when we're cloaking or like cash out and things like that. But on a regular side, I've never really worried about it. I don't care. The crawlers that I'm worried about, they don't really pick up everything anyway, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, unless they're really trying to hide something, I wouldn't see that as something that needs to be done for most people.
Yeah.
If they're doing regular things. Aggregate. All right. Do you know much about schema, bro? Because I'm not a schema person, dude.
No, I mean, I know bits and bobs of it, but again, late to the party with schema. I've always thought it was a lot of shit. Just thought it was one of those things that would maybe pass by. But, you know, I do get involved in About Me schema, FAQ schema, and bits and bobs, but I certainly wouldn't consider myself to be an expert.
Yeah. I think that, so this person is, they've got a house cleaning business, and their competitors are using aggregate review schema to display stars and all that shit. But they're using a product type, and this person doesn't want to do that. And I would say don't fuck with it. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be worth it in the long run to start screwing with it, because you can pigeonhole yourself with some of it, in my opinion. Without knowing a lot more there, I would not recommend that they change what they're doing until they know the answers to some certain questions. And those questions, I think, for me would be like, is the traffic always coming from the same place? Like, does it make sense to have those? Like, I think it's really easy to find out that you're in a kind of a slightly different market than someone else. And if you're emulating them 100%, it might not be the right thing for the conversions, you know?
Yeah. And also, Black G's says there's a story of a dude who works for a law firm pulling 70K and had his job fully automated to 5 minutes a day. Legendary story. Love it.
When I retired in like 2010, I stopped working for like 2 years, but I was running software. I was running hardware, and I was running some ClickBots and things like that, but it was fully automated. It's always fun when you can fully automate your income and or any side money that you're making or whatever. I love automation.
I've never been fortunate enough to have full-blown automated stuff. Kind of have when I done cloaking, Bing ads and shit. That was kind of fully automated, but
that's kind of where I'm talking about too, with some of that as well. Yeah, like when you're doing certain things, you can fully automate, but I don't think you can ever fully automate your life. I mean, there's more revenue to make, and not all of it can be fully automated.
Yeah,
you know.
But Robbie Mack has a question. What plugins do you recommend for leads for builders, and how many blog posts do you recommend for one website? So leads for builders, are there any plugins you would recommend? You do a lot of lead gen stuff, so are there any plugins that would maybe help someone in the building industry?
I think that if you're any form thing that you can, any way to capture, but I'd rather take calls in that case. I don't know if anyone has anything that's assisting with that, because we do not use any plugins for our call distribution and stuff. We need the back end and the SaaS for that, but I wouldn't say there's anything I recommend other than like building a funnel with something like ClickFunnels or another funnel builder. Because any funnel builder will be helpful for anyone doing lead generation, in my opinion. I also would wonder if it's like, is it one business, or are you selling those leads to multiple companies? And if that's the case, then like waterfalls can help, where you can actually bid out the pricing. But I would say, as long as you can build a funnel quickly and capture the email and capture the data you need, that's what you want to focus on.
And also, Robbie, we would need to know more about the coverage. How many areas would you be looking to cover? Because blog posts basically are effectively areas. keyword targeting as far as I'm concerned. How many of those would you recommend for one site really depends on how many keywords, how many areas you wish to target. So would need to know more about, is it just for a super local area, or are you doing this like in a UK or a US level? Just to give us a
and it's not really, don't look at anyone and take like, hey, do 5 blog posts is enough. That's not the case. Like you need to do the ones you need to do, and you don't have to do more than that necessarily. And that's going to be different based on what Craig is saying for sure. So, and that, I guess that what that means is make sure that you're covering the whole topic. Like that same thing that if you're in a location and your competitors are talking about something, you might want to be talking about what they're talking about.
Yeah. Get that topical cluster.
Yeah.
On point. Paul Hogden is saying when he was in corporate, he managed to automate a day's worth of reporting. He put in pauses for lunch and tea breaks and even randomly generated typos. Would you do shit like that? Would you do shit like that just to pretend you were on a break? Have you ever done shit like that, Mike? Well, you work for yourself, right? So you.
Yeah, no, I've worked for myself for so long now, since I was like 21, so like 20 plus years. I've never done it, but I would. I mean, if I needed to, and there was, I'll tell you, if I was put on call tracking, I would be botting that for sure. Or not call tracking, but like desktop tracking and hour tracking. If I was working for someone, you better believe that I would be moving that mouse. Stopping it, like making it legit. It's not hard to do, you know. And there was a question about the bots earlier from Kazi, and I wanted to mention, this makes a good point right here, is that like something like Win automation is absolutely something that you could use to do what Paul's talking about and what Kazi was talking about as well. Like you can use it for anything. It's a really solid piece of software.
Sean, do you think Google can see behind who is privacy given they're a registrar too?
They absolutely can see it, but it's not something to worry about. Just because they can see it doesn't mean they're seeing it all.
Yeah.
But they can. I mean, when we were building thousands of sites a day, and I don't know if it's open still, but there was a time where we had to kind of stagger registration because they were seeing there was a drop in the privacy process, where the privacy would drop right after registration for a little bit and then come back up, and they were looking. So, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Do the best you can, like rotate what you're registering with, rotate your hosts and rotate like if you're using like Cloudflare, make sure you're rotating accounts, in my opinion. Like there's just like stuff you want to take as precaution for that kind of marketing. But I wouldn't worry too much. Google can see fucking everything, guys. Like literally they can see anything they want to see, and it's in their terms of service. They can read your fucking emails. Like they could find everything you're talking about with your friends and family. Like just don't worry about it. That's the world we live in.
Unfortunately, but hey, Jared,
dude. Dude, if people knew what they looked at, man, if like real people knew like how much they look at, I think they'd freak the fuck out, dude. It's like I hear people talking about how bad it is, and like, dude, this is old news. Like, you have no idea, you know? Yeah. Funny.
Been happening for a long time, so people do get freaked out though. And Chad Hamilton missed the name of the bot. Win automation.
Win automation. It is it's not just a bot. It's an automation suite. You can use it to like power robot shit. Like it's not a marketing tool. It's just Win, like Windows Win automation. And it's like here, I'll just, instead of like trying to remember everything that they have put into it over the years, they call it robotic process automation. It's Microsoft Power Automate is what it is I guess the new name for the whole suite. But it's super solid, and there's a lot you can do. Like I've created some pretty freaking fun emulation with it for different projects and stuff that needed to be safe with thousands and thousands of accounts. So it will hold up for sure. If you wanted to build your own bots for CTR and shit, you could easily do that. But
anyway, Jared has a question about ecom. So how would you handle product pages? So let's say the e-com site had a one-time unique product, and once the product is sold, it won't be replenished. How
So
would you handle that?
the strategy is you're going to have products that are similar and a different brand, or they're just unique to a brand and they're never coming back because it's a different thing.
Yeah, let us know that, Jared.
But one of the things is if you're in a market where you can get away and you don't need to have the brand tied into the product, and having a generic product ranking and being able to shift the ranking to a different product is key, because you'll be out of stock on things. There's strategy all around that. So that's a hard one on the fly without knowing more detail. But if you ever watch Ted Kabatis, that dude's a freaking ecom wizard, man. That's a question that I would ask him. And if you could get him to consult on something like that, I would look at that. But I would look at that from the marketing standpoint or the marketing strategy first, and then worry about the tech on the SEO afterwards. Hopefully that's what you're doing.
Henry DL, first show. Thank you for coming, Henry. Make sure you do give us a like and subscribe. Are you seeing people also ask pushing down organic results? Are you seeing that more often?
Yeah, so we were talking about that in the training, the webinar series last week a little bit. And in our markets, like our main market, like in rehab and drug recovery and stuff, they've taken it out a long time ago. And I have theories why, but yeah, they're going to start hiding that more and more from you. I'm actually seeing different SERP results completely in certain markets where they're kind of changing around, basically playing with what they're calling things, and then also how they're scoring like a content block to bring it in. Like, so if it's going to be related search or books or whatever, like they're just tweaking out how they're bringing that into the SERP. And so when they order some of that, like PAA, those questions are ordered by click-through, and that's part of how they order the questions and how they decide what, we're talking about scoring a document based on the next click and what they should see. There's a lot of research you can do with PAA that makes it very effective in individual SERPs. And so like in markets where it's very YMML or whatever the hell you want to call it, very, restricted, they'll take that shit out. But they are starting to mess around with it more in a broader market after like May, for sure. Yeah.
Cool.
Answer the public, I think, is a good alternative if you don't know it.
And the answer to Jared's question that you asked him, it's a totally unique product. Think game-worn sports apparel and autographed equipment. So let's say Michael Jordan's signed top here. There's only one
like
of these.
This shirt right now, I'm going to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Right.
On your worn panties.
I would start looking at the market and I would start doing my research around that, where what keywords can I rank for that are not product and brand tied, but are industry tied and commercial. Lead simplify for Robbie Mack down there. That's where my head goes without like really looking at everything. But I would want to get in and I want to find out where everyone's spending their time and do the consumer research, and then really find out, okay, after a game, is it something I have to do? Is it more important for me to spend time on the branding of that and social than it is on the product? But when you do that, you'll find what you want to rank for. And I would start shifting the ranking every time there's a new product, shifting the ranking over to the new page for that product, for the new product. Like if it's literally like game worn sports apparel, today's last night's game worn sports apparel, let's say that has a ton of traffic. That'd be something where I would have it and I would shift it through redirection and stuff, and not just keep dropping those product pages off, just keep moving that around. So yeah, what are your thoughts, dude?
I mean, personally, for me, it's an industry that I've worked in. So what we tend to are primarily done was rank for things like Rangers signed memorabilia, which is my local football team. So there would be a page for that, which then, the products would change.
The latest ones, like a category page pushing the latest product, makes a lot of sense to me. So
that's exactly how we done it, because again, if we had a one-off item like it was a legend of a player, and we had something that was signed by that person, and then it goes down. One, the search volume is very low for someone searching for a player specifically. I know it might be different if it's for Michael Jordan. However, I think match worn baseball jersey or whatever it might be is probably something that people would search for, and then they'll be able to see all the kind of different memorabilia you've got there. So that is how I would attack it, Jared. And
I think it needs to start with that market research first, for sure. Like, you need to know what they're looking for on a regular basis that has volume, like Craig's saying, for sure.
Yeah. So hopefully that helps you, Jared. Henry's asking, would you ever block Ahrefs or SEMrush bots at the robots HT access level? I mean, why share your backlink profiles and data or not bother? Who cares? So I'd be curious to know. Right, I was asked this. So I used to do a lot of PBNs and shit, Mike. And I used to talk a lot about blocking this and blocking that, just so that it skewed the data and people couldn't follow everything that I was fucking doing. But the reality is, no one gives a fuck. That's a footprint in itself. Blocking.
It is like you're an outlier. If you're blocking those, you are literally an outlier, probably from 90%, if not more, of the sites in your market, which is not a good thing. Now, certain things that you would do and that aren't necessarily gray or white hat, like you would block things, but in the scheme of things like we were talking about earlier, I wouldn't worry about it unless it makes sense for the specifics. Like if you're doing things through a redirect that you really don't want people to see, you might want to block that there or something like that. But the whole thing, like back, like I think it was like 2014, remember, everyone was pushing like, okay, so you're going to redirect everything to your homepage and block all bots, right? Like that's your PBN. Redirect everything to the homepage and block the bots so they don't know what you're doing and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no, I mean, you are an outlier at that point. You have footprints at that point because you're doing it, in my opinion.
But every website you've got, whether it's a PBN or whether it's anything else, is a website in its own right. It should, if you can't make money building a PBN off of that website to pay for everything and make it a real website, then you shouldn't be doing it at all.
I agree.
There is no need to be blocking shit or doing any kind of funky stuff, in my opinion. I get where you're coming from, though. Why share your backlink profiles and data to all the other douchebags out there? But you're just putting a big target in your back.
I think one way that we've explained it to students, and like when they get deeper into like running campaigns that are larger and stuff, what you get to is the point where you have like, the way I do SEO and link building is I only want to control like a small percentage of that. I don't want to control the whole profile. And so like all that natural profile that comes with it just kind of serves to like look legitimate, and some of it helps the ranking and some of it's ignored. But if you control 100% of your links, then there might be an issue showing everybody your links, but usually you're not going to control 100% of your backlink profile. And so I think that when you take that kind of outlook, like what Craig is saying, like if you treat everything like a money site, like you should, like we talk about in the mini net training and stuff, and then you are only controlling a portion of your backlinks per page, then you really don't have anything to hide, and let them look, because they'll get confused and most people don't know what the hell is the thing working or not. So
the thing is, people are fucking lazy anyway. Yeah. So even if you dropped it right on the lap and said, here's all of my shit, would someone know what to do with it? Probably not. So,
would they do it if they knew what to do with it? Probably not, unless they really needed some money at that point or had a net opening or something. Because I see some damn good ideas that I'm like, I'd love to do that, but I'm not going to spend my time doing that. So I'm a lazy marketer. Fuck that.
Most people are. That's
why we do this. No, I say that knowing that you've had like 24, 48-hour days working on websites like I have and busting your ass. So it's relative, right?
Yeah, it is all relative.
I'm old and lazy now, though.
And the thing is, Mike, like David Hennessy's saying here, you've got tools like public www, whatever the fuck it's called. You know what I'm talking about. One that no one blocks the bot for, and you'll be able to see everything anyway. So,
no, I will find what you're doing if I want to see what you're doing. I can The last one I looked at when someone accidentally sent a backlink to one of the pages they shouldn't have sent, like somebody that people would know the names, it took me maybe 20 minutes to find like 15 LLCs they were connected to, like hundreds, if not thousands of GMB listings. And I just want to see what they're doing. I don't harm people's businesses, but if someone knows what they're doing and they want to see what you're doing, they're going to find it. No question. Yeah. I can find your home. I mean, like you can do that. It's not hard to do, right? So yeah, I think it's not worth it. It's a good point, David.
Very good point, David. And a good little tip though. As I say, if someone does do that and you want to find out what they're doing, plenty of other bots out there that can analyze sites and give you the information you need. So, a good way to reverse engineer some douchebags' work. But
I love doing that, man. That's so much fun. Like when you find a good network and like all of a sudden you see all their listings and how they're running their like multiple lead gen campaigns. That's like fun, dude. That's like my favorite shit. Just kind of digging.
You can get bogged down for hours in that shit, which is why I probably don't do it as much.
Well, that's why I don't rule the world, bro. I'll do that shit all day long.
It's but yeah, it is what it is. But I'm trying to see if I've missed any questions. Lead Simplify, it covers forms and phone calls. But you mentioned lead distribution software, Mike.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can recommend? Because more and more people are getting into lead gen, and it's the lead distribution software that really plays a big part in it. As far as I'm concerned, I use one called Callzoo.
Which one?
Callzoo it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, it was like a round robin. So if a guy only wanted 5 leads from me in a day, it would then go to the next person and so on and distribute the calls that way. But what is the best lead distribution software at the moment that is relatively affordable?
The research that you want to do is on like lead waterfalls and things like that. For us, like, because we've done a lot of financial and like payday and like lending, we need to show someone a full application and then let them bid. And when they refuse, like we have tiers and we have to do that. So if you dig into like lead waterfall and Zoho and different things, like there's just a lot of specifics I would say you need per campaign that to give you something for a generic, I don't think I would have the right answer. Maybe try someone like Zoho, one of the bigger brands, I think would be maybe the way to go. But let me see. I'm checking notes real quick. No. Yeah, anything with a waterfall and a bid system is where I would want to be in most of the markets that I'm in if it's not phone calls. And what you want is something that, like for us, it's really like compliance is really important. So like we need to make sure that the data is protected in the States. And then I need to be able to take out different items and sell the different items, right? So I might be doing lead generation for payday loans, but I know guys that, they promote Disney cruises and they'll buy an email and they'll buy a record for like $1. And so like, when you maximize that shit, you need a way to maximize it while letting people bid out anything. So usually look for a white label lead waterfall type of thing. And that will get you something that is super solid. The stuff that I could say, I think that we're talking like, it's not cheap. Like it starts 5,000 to 10,000 on the basic stuff, but any lead waterfall that does that, I think would be good for you.
Yeah.
What do you use anything in particular right now or?
No, so I don't really do lead gen anymore. It was back in the probably about 2015, 16, 17. I pissed about with it on a small scale, but I sacked it off, man. I couldn't be fucking arsed. Even when I was doing lead gen, and I get lead gen's a great model for you guys, and I've seen you guys having amazing success, but I was in all the wrong niches at the time. So I was
it makes everything. I mean, and it's a lot harder to jump into real affiliate and data right now than it was when we started, man. I feel like now to do it right, you need a team. I really do. I think if you jumped into something like stackthatmoney.com or something like that, and you jumped into one of those forums and started reading their affiliate guys, like you'll see that they're saying get a team together and do it, because it was really easy back like pre-2012 to me. I thought like to jump into any market and find the money because it was cheaper to get into it, you know.
So that, but what I found, it was double glazing. So even though we had the call distribution software and all that fucking bollocks, the guy wasn't answering the phone properly, and on all that shit, and you're just like, fuck me. So we're dealing with the wrong type of people, small, very small businesses, and it was just a constant fight to get your
I don't like the training out there that tells people to build lead gen sites and then go find small businesses to sell leads to, because it doesn't. It's just immense work for just way too much work. That's never going to return the way it should. Now you do have to get your feet wet somewhere, but honestly, those kind of situations are not good for your business.
It's why I also haven't really ever piled into the GMB thing in a big way. Because
I wouldn't do it either if I didn't have somewhere to put shit.
Yeah, but it was, again, those businesses were putting me off because I just found it really fucking intense work and a lot of fighting to get your shit. So unless you put somewhere to put the stuff, fuck that shit.
It's like with call sales. We've been doing this for long enough now. When we go somewhere and we want to start something new, like we can go to our stats and say, look, just give us what we want. Stop freaking complaining. But going in new, it's a lot harder than coming in with data and history and having that.
But
so,
dude, one thing you will probably not fully understand is America and Americans in general are happy to pay for that shit. People in the UK do not want to pay nothing for nothing. Like, you can sell leads over in America 10 times easier than you can here in the UK.
Can you really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've been involved in certain campaigns, like the financial stuff in the UK, I've been involved in, but I've never had to deal with trying to sell the shit. Like, it's not something that I want to deal with.
Like, Americans just get it. They've got more money, more budget. They're more business focused. Yeah, I'll take those fucking leads off your hands. Doing it here, and I get it. It works in the finance niche, but anything smaller, you really are fucking going to struggle, man.
That makes sense.
And Paul's saying lead gen works best with companies who understand ROI. Most don't understand it. And if they can't tell you the conversion rate, move on.
100. Great tip, Paul. If they don't know what their conversion rate is, or what the lifetime value of their customer is, or what their return on a single freaking customer is, like for a single purchase, like there's some big trouble right there. And I would move on.
Yeah.
Don't educate them because it'll take too much time.
Yeah. Maeve has a random query. And it's not that random, Maeve. We want the full gossip. But anyway, she's asking if negative SEO is still a thing. Reading a Twitter spat.
Yeah, you can still harm websites with different shit, for sure. I mean, I wouldn't tell. I don't know what technical thing works right now or doesn't work, but it definitely could take someone's website down.
Yeah, I mean, if you can optimize, then you can.
Yeah,
potentially
I mean, I've seen people shift a freaking pizza company. I've seen people shift like a plumber into a pizza company overnight and take 100% of the rankings. Like, it's possible to do that shit for sure.
So, SEO experts in Twitter claiming you can't anymore. I absolutely hate Twitter SEO. Twitter SEO,
everything sucks, bro.
Yeah, it's there's experts all around claiming things. It's crazy. It's not for me to comment on individuals, but I see so much garbage on Twitter. SEO Twitter, if you want to call it that, it's insane. I just wake up, have a quick scroll through it, and I'm just like, fuck me.
I can't go over there.
So I keep it as a matter of, I just, it's better than not being there, but I don't spend too much time on it, and I don't follow too much stuff on there. What I would say is, for anyone, I keep my SEO people that I like to talk to, learn from, and all that very small. I don't trust a lot of fuckers out there selling their snake oil and whatever else. So my SEO circles are very, very small, and I try not to deviate too much away from it, because it's just.
It sounds like my personal life too, dude.
it is, you know, there's my personal life similar as well. You know, I don't have a huge amount of friends to try and keep that to a full level as well, because everyone always wants something.
They do, man. It's crazy.
And I just no time for it, man. I just like to chill with my family, do my own thing, and stick to the small amount of friends I've got, and it's a happy life.
Exactly.
But anyway, guys, we are out of time. Anything happening this week on NFG? Any webinars? Any funky stuff going
No,
on?
I think not other than follow up, and we are doing the event, you know, and I don't know what's going on. Brad's out. I don't ever know any stats or anything until he's around. So, nah, I would say come to Craig's tomorrow and see Chris.
Come tomorrow and see Chris. See what gossip we've got going on there.
You got anyone else coming on this week or doing any interviews or what?
Nah, not this week. I'm going to start probably doing my podcast again, but I'm going to try and get a wider range of guests on, rather than just SEO people. I want people slightly broader than that, just to talk about different shit. You know, I was talking in Barcelona a few weeks ago with a guy called Eric Siu, and I was talking to him, and he's got his podcast, and he was telling me just get a broader audience on, and so I was picking his brain on it, or a broader bunch of people on, because I just
the angle of people that are doing well, like on YouTube or another platform, that are not market focused, that are not marketing focused, but they've built their business and they have very unique insight to give. I think it's a good idea, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. And like Live IRL fan says, remember to get music SEO experts. Listen, I'm going to start tapping into anything that's kind of semi-relevant. Like Live IRL fan said, actually, some of these guys know how to manipulate the shit out of Spotify and all these kind of things. So it probably would be good to pick their brains, because they're not SEOs really. But
but you'll see the SEO and everything they do. I'll tell you that, man. It's like whenever you jump onto a platform, if it's not Google, it's very easy to figure out, man. It's interesting, dude. Like I've been playing with certain algorithms on different sites, like just for the businesses we're starting right now, and I'm blown away with how simple shit is, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
But that's so. To answer your question, I've only got Chris on tomorrow, but I'm going to start with the podcast again and get more content going.
Nice.
And see where it goes. It's time to ramp up the YouTube again.
Otis.
Anyway, check out Otis, and we will catch you guys again next week. See you later on.